and welcome to the Golden Arrow community site tutorial on how to use the editor. So if you've watched the forum tutorial which preceded this, you will have seen us create a thread and do some work with it, but you will not have seen us use all the tools that were present in the editor, which was kind of up above it. There were all kinds of buttons and stuff. So this time around, what we're going to do is we're going to focus specifically on how to use the editor and how to work with some of its more advanced features. So this time we're going to go into the forum, and we're going to go ahead and start out by creating a new thread. So let's go into site suggestions, and we'll go create a new thread. So as you saw in the forum tutorial, you can do that by clicking on the new thread button, either the one at the bottom or the top, doesn't matter. And when it comes up, we have our editor. So as we did in the other tutorial, we're going to call this, Sean's test thread. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through a series of steps to show you how to add things. Now this time what we're going to do is we're going to do each individual step, and then we're going to use this function, the preview function at the bottom, so that you can see how that action is reflected in the actual post. So for example, let's go ahead and start with the first control. So the first control that we have here is this size control. So I'm going to type in this text is large. Now, once I have the text, in order to apply any of these effects to that text, I can highlight it. By highlighting it, I'm telling the editor that this is the text that I want my effect to apply to. So in this case, we're going to say size. Now you'll notice that it has tiny, small, normal, large, and huge. And that's very different because normally the fonts have numbers. If you're working with, say, Word, it'll say, well, I've got a 12-point font or a 15-point font. And those numbers tell you how big they are. These are based on the HTML standards, and HTML is the language that we use to talk to web pages. And within that language, there is a preset group of font sizes that it delivers, and there's 6 of them that are in here that are already predefined for you. So in this case, we're going to make it huge. We're going to make it big, as big as we can. So you'll see that when I hit that, it puts these little things in front of it. So it says size equal to 6, and then at the end it says /size. Now what these are tags, HTML tags, and HTML tags tell the browser that from this point to this point, the size of this text will be 6. So let's go ahead and, just for comparison, I'm going to say this text is normal underneath it. And then we'll click preview. And when you click preview, you can actually see what your message will look like with the tags and everything that you have already put into the message. You can see here that this text is much bigger than this normal text. So that's how I would make it larger. So then let's add another line here. Let's say this text is red, and we want this to be a red text. Okay, so again, what I do is I highlight the text that I want the effect to apply to, and I can click on the color control in this case because I want it to be red. So I click on the color control and I decide that I want to make it red, and you'll see that it puts a color tag around it. So there's the color tag, and /color is the end of the tag. So it says from here to here, the text will be red, which is this color. Now, you don't have to know anything about what the name of the tag is, or what the value is for red, or the value is for huge. You don't have to know that. The editor handles that for you. All you have to do is go ahead and highlight the text you want to apply an effect to, and then click the appropriate button. Now, with these tags, it gets a little busy, and I know that for those that are not technical, this will look kind of intimidating. So just to put it really simply, again, you're just going to highlight the text you want an effect on, and then you apply the effect, and that's it. You're done. So let's go ahead and preview this step. So now I have red text. All right, now let's go down to another line so that we don't, get too cluttered here where we can't see what's going on. So this next one, we're going to go ahead and insert a smiley, right? An emoji. And many of you know about this from texting or from email. And it's a good way to kind of convey emotion in any text communication. So I can click on Insert Smiley, and there's a whole bunch of them in here. And we're going to do the thumbs up smiley, and we can click Preview, and now I have a thumbs up smiley or a thumbs up emoji. All right. So now the next one. So the next one is the link button. Okay. So this is for creating hyperlinks. Now, many of you may know what a hyperlink is. Just to make it really simple, this right here, that's a hyperlink. So it's a piece of text that I can highlight and click on, and it will take me somewhere or do something. That's a hyperlink. So I'm going to show you how to create a hyperlink. Now, in order to work with hyperlinks, you have to understand a couple things about how the internet works. And we're going to be really simple. We're going to try to make it as simple as possible. So we're going to start out by going out here to Google, and we're going to say, we're going to look for the Circle 10 site. Circle 10 Council. And here we have the Circle 10 Council. So we click on the Circle 10 Council, and it brings up the page. So the thing that you really care about when you're trying to make links, or any time that you try to bring any content into the site that is not on the site, so anything from outside the site, you have to use what's called a URL. It means Universal Resource Locator if you care, but it's called a URL. And the URL is nothing more than the address up here at the top of your browser. Okay, you can see that every single site and every single thing on any web page has one of these things. So for example, if I go here and I want to see this picture and I want to know where it's from, I could do something like this. I could say open image in new tab, so I can open just that one image, and you'll see there's the image. But you'll see up here that there's this big long string of ugly stuff, right? That is unintelligible to the normal person. But what it actually is that is the place on the internet where this picture lives. That's its address. That's its URL. So being able to copy a URL from the top of your browser and paste it in using the editor is how you link things into the website and make them appear. So what we do is here in our new thread, let's say that we want to go to the Circle 10 Council site, but instead of typing in circle10.org for our users, we want it to say something that makes sense. So we type in Circle 10 Council. Now what we're going to do is to make this a hyperlink, we're going to go to Circle 10 and we're going to copy the URL. Now there's different ways to do this. Some of us like to use Control-C to copy. You can also right-click and choose copy. This is just the way you copy and paste things anywhere, Word or Excel or anywhere. It's the same controls. So once we have copied it, so let's do this. Let's go copy, and we'll go back here to our thread. And what we're going to do is, once again, same procedure. Highlight the text you want to apply the effect to. Click the button. In this case, it says link URL, so it's asking for my URL. So I'm going to paste the URL in and say insert link. Now, you'll see that it put a URL tag in front of this with the address, and then it closed that tag. So from here to here, this will be a hyperlink to this URL. So let's see what that looks like. Preview, and here it says Circle 10 Council, and you'll notice that when I put my cursor over it, it lights up, and if I click it, it opens the page. So let's go back. We'll hit preview again. It brought me back without the preview. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add an image to this. So let's say that we want to add the BSA logo to this. So let's go out to Google and let's go just find a copy of the BSA logo. So we'll type it into our search engine, and there's a bunch of images. Now, I can pick one of these that I like, for example, and something you can do in any web browser, and this works with most all images on the internet. There are some exceptions, but in general, I can right-click on an image, and I can say copy image address. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to copy that big long URL that is tied to that picture, which is its address on the internet. And I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to say insert image. I'm going to paste my image URL, insert, and then I can preview, and I can see that it has added the image. So it was really very easy. Even though this right here is the big long nasty address that was associated with it, that's the big long URL, you notice that you didn't have to know that. You didn't have to work with it. You didn't have to do anything with it. All you had to do was right click, copy image address, go back to the thread, add the image, paste the URL, and you're done. And the image pops up. Now, same exact thing goes for videos. If you wanted to put in a video, so let's go out here and let's go look for a video. So let's go out to YouTube and let's go look for a Cub Scout recruiting. Okay, and we'll go out to this Cub Scout recruiting video and let's take a look at it. Let's see what we have. Okay, that's like seriously cute. Okay. I think that's a winner. So what are we going to do? Same exact thing we did before, right? We're going to go up here to the top. We're going to select or highlight the URL. We're going to copy that URL. Then we're going to go back to our thread and we're going to say insert video. This is a YouTube link. So we just come in here and we paste the URL from YouTube and we insert our video and we hit preview, and lo and behold, here's our video. And it's really neat because I can actually play it right here in the message. That's awesome. Okay, so that's how you use those. Now, next thing we're going to talk about. We also talked in the forum tutorial, we talked about attachments, but I'll reiterate it here. If I wanted to attach a file to this message, I could click on attach file, and I would go find the picture that the file, not even necessarily a picture, but I would go find the one that I want. And for example, if I want the Cub Scout advancement modifications from this year that when they came out, I can attach it and it will attach the file to the message here for people to retrieve later. So then like a Word, like any text editor like Word, right? You can also apply some of these other things that you're very familiar with. These are normal formatting options that almost every word processor has. So the ability to do bold, italics, underline, the ability to highlight, strike through, superscript, subscript. Again, all exactly the same method. All I have to do is highlight the stuff that I want. So what if I want this red in bold? Now this is the other thing to know, is that it is possible to stack or group multiple tags on the same piece of text. So for example, this text is red, but I also want it to be bold. So I can highlight the text again and say bold, and it will stick the appropriate tags in the middle. If I also wanted it, and we'll just preview that. Ta-da! Now it's bold. If I wanted it to be underlined, I could highlight it again, and I could say underline, and I could hit preview, and now it is bold and underlined. So you can kind of pile these things on together on top of one another. I do understand that for most people, this is becoming difficult to read, and it's hard for them to parse out visually. And again, you don't have to do any of this stuff. This is all just if you're comfortable with it. Other things you can do with it, you can left justify, right justify, center the text. All you do to do that is you pick the text that you want centered, and let's say we center that, and let's say that we let's right justify our thumb Oops, sorry. Actually, let's right justify both the thumb and the red text. So I can do a group of things in here, and if I hit preview, you'll notice that now, oh, that one's in the center, and those have been bumped over to the right-hand side. So this is how it works. There's also some stuff in here for bullets and numbers. These are a little complicated to use. There is the ability to indent so that you can, treat it like a word or a hierarchy. So that's certainly an option as well. So those are the primary controls. Now there are some other controls out here, like this little question mark for spoilers and this email thing and the code blocks and some of this stuff. I wouldn't worry about any of that stuff unless you are very familiar with HTML and how it works and how to do forum posting. If you are familiar with how to do forum posting, you've probably already used those kinds of tools. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to leave it at that, and we're going to post our thread. And there we have it. So that's how to use the editor. Hope that helps. Hope you guys have some fun with it, come up with some creative stuff, and thank you for your time.